concepts to LinkedIn, which is one, making sure that everyone's profile is set up correctly and professionally. We'll talk about how to do that and why it's important to do that. Then we're going to go through and talk about connecting with people. One of the most common questions people always ask me is, I've had all these people ask me to connect. Should I accept their connections, and why should I accept them if I do? So we'll kind of cover all that stuff. And then finally, we'll go through the final part, which is probably the most technical, which is, okay, now I've connected with all these people. What am I supposed to do with LinkedIn? How do I use it? How do I get value out of it? How do I get more clients out of it? We'll kind of go through how to organize all of our connections and actually use some of the aggressive marketing tools that LinkedIn offers. I am going to specifically go through your company page a little bit, talk to you about the strategy with that, how you can kind of share some of that content with your connections. And probably every 6 or 7 minutes, we'll stop because that'll be the content for the section, and we'll take questions and kind of go from there. So when we talk about setting up a LinkedIn profile, the one thing I always try to get across is it's kind of like a professional resume. And the people that are really successful with social media, they know how it's being found, and they utilize that to their advantage. The novices, they've been told you got to set up a profile. They go in, maybe they set it up 50%, and they kind of forget about it. Either way, there are ramifications of setting up a profile. So the first thing I always kind of say is look, go on to Google and just type in your name and, see what comes up. And for me, if we just type in Ken French Jr. real quick, obviously the first thing that comes up is my LinkedIn profile. This is not something magically I made occur. This occurs because LinkedIn is the #3 website in the world, and any profiles that are set up automatically become very highly search engine optimized. So my point is I know that people, when they're kind of doing a little bit of a background check on me, I know that my LinkedIn profile is coming up. And so because of that, I look at it as kind of a professional resume, maybe a secondary sales tool that I'm going to design to help me, to give me an advantage, to get more sales, to get more referrals. And I realize you guys work for a big agency, but in the end, you still represent the agency to some extent. You want to make sure that your profile is set up, at that elite level as well to increase conversions. So what I want to kind of go through here are some basic setup things that'll help you kind of get to the next level. So to do that, you just want to go into LinkedIn, and in the top, you want to select the little profile tab right here. And under it, you will see a Edit Profile button. So I'm going to click that, and that'll kind of create all sorts of pencils throughout the profile. And there's pretty much 4 sections we want to focus on. 1, the contact information. 2, the summary section. 3, your past jobs and education. And 4, your skills and expertise. If you can just get those 4 sections looking pretty good, you'll be in good shape. Obviously, there's a few other sections that are kind of the next level, but I think those are the first 4 I'd want everyone to focus on. So if you click on that Edit Contact Information, there's pretty much 3 little areas you want to make sure that are set up correctly. 1, make sure your professional business email address is showing. 2, make sure your work phone is there with your extension. And 3, make sure that your websites are listed. And I know that sounds simple and easy and no-brainer, but you would be surprised how many people don't have their phone number on their LinkedIn profile. And like I said, people are coming here, they're looking at this, it's representing you and your brand. You don't want to make them have to do a research project to figure out how to get in touch with you. So again, to edit these things and to change them, all you do is click the little pencil, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, the website is a little bit more complicated, and there's kind of another level of creativity you can involve yourself in. So if I click on the pencil, you'll see that I have 3 websites listed. And I bet most of you guys have the company site listed, and it probably says like company website, just like that. What you can do is you can click this drop-down arrow next to websites and select Other. And when you select Other, it gives you what's called a custom title box. And what I suggest is obviously customizing that. Rather it just being agency website, maybe it's auto and home, Illinois experts, or whatever maybe you focus on. I suggest titling the site because that's actually a highly search engine optimized area. And more importantly, you want to encourage people to click on it, to go to the agency website, which is obviously designed to handle incoming traffic. So those are some quick little tips on the contact information. Simple but important. The next section is really the most important part of your whole profile. It's the summary section. There's a lot you can do with this section, but what I suggest is making sure that you have maybe 4 to 6 sentences written here that cover 3 specific things. One, how do you help people? 2, sorry, I'm blanking out here. 1, how do you help people? 2, how can they request your help? And 3, what makes you unique? Those are the 3 things you want to have in there. And I guess my point is most agencies, I see them, it's all the same. We're a full-service insurance agency in Illinois. Contact us for a free quote. That's absolutely what you do not want on your profile. Remember, you may have just gone to lunch with somebody, had a great conversation, talked about risk management and all the stuff that you guys are super geniuses on, and they've gone and they're Googling you, taking another look. Think about it like this profile is kind of a second wave of sales tactics that you're using to kind of convince the person to do business with you. So that summary section really becomes important. Why are you unique? How do you help people, and how can they request your help and get started with you? You even have the ability to go in here and add PowerPoint presentations, videos. You'll see if you click on my profile, I have some videos I made that kind of review my services. These things get an incredible amount of clicks. They're strategically designed right for LinkedIn. I know that may be kind of the next level of thinking, but my point again is that I've set up LinkedIn to kind of be the sales presentation about my service. And there's no reason that you can't do the same for your agency. So make sure that summary section is customized, it's simple, it really explains to people how you're going to get them to the next level. It is important to list where you used to work and where you went to school. Reason being, and I'm kind of just rambling here, but let me just go back to the edit profile section. When you kind of first create that profile, they want you to put in positions of experience and obviously education, and my education is kind of buried down here. But the reason you would want to do that is because it immediately will start to show your profile with other people that share those same things, whether they went to your college, whether they worked at those companies. And again, the whole point of LinkedIn, create that professional resume and hopefully get as many people as possible looking at it, driving them either to the website or driving them to call you. So I just find that a lot of agents that are novices, they don't spend the time to kind of put in their past experience, their education. In the end, that will help you get more traffic, and that really is what you're after. So that's important. And then finally, we have a section, LinkedIn has a section called Skills and Endorsements. And one of the things I see is a lot of agencies or agents will have literally 50 skills listed here. I do insurance, I do customer service, I do everything. What you want to do with this section is you want to make sure you have between 3 and 5 skills listed. And the reason being is when you have about 15 or 20 skills listed, you're not going to get people endorsing you for all of your skills. So let me kind of rewind. What you'll see on my profile is I have 4 skills listed: social media marketing, insurance, web design, lead generation. And they all say 99 plus. So if I put my mouse over it and I click it, you can see that 229 people have endorsed me for social media marketing. What we're really after here, guys, is we're after getting as many endorsements as possible for the skills that we list. So my point is if you have between 3 and 5, it's very likely that that one person is going to come in here and just click on all 3 at once or all 4 at once, and you're going to get endorsed across the board. If you have 15 skills listed, there's no way somebody's going to sit there and click on all 15. They're just not. People are lazy. So my point is we want to get as many endorsements as possible. It just makes us look more credible, looks more professional. People come to my profile and go, man, this guy's got 200 plus endorsements on each one from the exact type of person I am. It's got to be pretty credible. You're not going to get that if you have 15 or 20 endorsements. So go in here when you get a chance and click on the Edit tab, and you will see that I have 4 listed, but you'll also see that I have in upwards of 46 that I can still add. My point is LinkedIn will let you add 50 skills if you want. What I'm saying is you want to keep it 3 to 5. Most common question I get with this is, well, what type of skills should I list? And in my opinion, what you want to do is you want to have 2 that are very generic, maybe insurance, maybe risk management. And then you want to have 2 that are very specific. You know, it could be Illinois homeowners insurance expert, something like that. Just, again, 2 specific, 2 customized, and I think that'll be a good balance. So let's take a few questions here if anyone has any. I'm going to take you guys off mute. Feel free to ask any questions you have.
I have a question. So I run into the issue where people endorse me for skills that I don't have listed, because, you know, it will, like, when you log on to LinkedIn, it will say, like, right, oh, endorsed for whatever. Is there a way that, like, if I wanted to delete, I can just remove then those endorsements of those people, or is there a way to just populate just 5 to show?
What
not
you want
show
to
those ones that, like, people, like, endorse me for that I don't have listed.
Right, like this. Here you
yeah.
go. I have it too, right. So what you want to do, to be honest, is you just want to forget about these and delete them. Click the X and get rid of them.
Okay.
Unless you have 0 skills listed. You know, if you have 0 skills listed and you see, like, insurance in one of them, then you probably want to add that one to your profile. But at the end of the day, this is where people get in trouble. They start saying, oh, look, I'll just accept all these, and next thing you know, their profile doesn't look really good. So at the end, you don't really want these. You kind of just want to delete them. And I usually, you know, again, I usually just hit skip and say whatever. I don't really care. I just know that I want these 4 to be my core ones. And obviously, my profile has been developed. It's been going on for a few years. So I don't, you know, it's not new. My point is, I probably get an endorsement every week or 2 from these terms. But long story short, I would delete those, put your 4 core ones down there, and just keep those solid.
Okay. Where did you find those again?
They're going to show up at the top of your profile when you, like, initially enter it. I was just kind of clicking back and forth. Let me just see here if I can get it to pop up again. Probably not, to be honest. I'd have to log totally out. But it'll be at the top of your profile.
Okay.
Anyway.
I have a question for you. You
sure,
mentioned
go ahead.
4 skills to drive people to your website. Also, when we were putting our website in, you said type in other, and then we could put skills there as well, correct? And then we can do the same 4 skills there?
No. For your website, you can set up just a customized name of the website. That's what I was trying to say. You want to go in there. You don't want the website to say company website. That's bad. That's generic. Nobody's going to click on it. You want to just title it so it's explained to people what it is.
Yeah,
hyperlink.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, think of it as a hyperlink to another website. So you want that hyperlink to say whatever you want.
Right.
Versus http://www.
Right.
And you guys may have your own blogs. You may have all sorts of stuff that you want to kind of present there. That's where you're going to want to custom title it. It'll get more clicks that way. That's all.
Got it.
Okay. Where do you upload the video? Like if you want to do a short or a PDF or something to show people on there, like you had your 2 PowerPoints.
Right. So you go in and there's a little button here, right here. I don't know what you would call it, but it's a little button with like a screen and a plus.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you click on that, this, you'll see it says add link or upload file. I believe I've just added links to YouTube, and then I just kind of, I'm able to label them. So you can do that. You can put a link to a video by just having some YouTube links, or you could upload a PDF, a PowerPoint. I see a lot of that, and it'll certainly put it there. And you know, people always say, you know, there's always kind of two trains of thoughts with the summary. Some people, they want to write one sentence. Other people want to write a book. And my opinion is keep it short. And then if you really want to go crazy on something you're doing, that's when you attach the PowerPoint presentation that can be 25 slides that goes into super detail on what you do. So that's kind of the point of it.
I think we're good on that.
Any other questions? We're good on questions, Ken.
Okay. All right. I will go into now the next phase. Thanks. Okay. So once you guys have your profile set up, that becomes kind of the foundation of being successful. And make no mistake, you're not going to be successful with LinkedIn if your profile is set up poorly, because really the end goal is to get found. And then when the people find you, you want the profile to kind of, like I said, sell them on the idea that you can help them. So it all circles around it being set up correctly. But really the next thing we all need to be doing with LinkedIn is making sure that we're consistently growing the database or growing our distribution, because really that's what LinkedIn is. It's you're going out there and you're connecting with other users, and they become part of your network. They become part of your distribution. In a few minutes, I'm going to talk about how you can message those people and communicate with those people. There was an initial question early on about the company page. And, you know, hey, I'd like to share some of the posts the company page is making. All of that is great, but if you don't have anyone you're connected to, it becomes valueless, because the whole point of connecting with people is that if you share these tips and ideas, they go out to your distribution. So one of the most common questions I get, I said it before, hey, Ken, I go onto LinkedIn, I don't know what I'm doing, and I get all these people asking me to connect with them. Some of them are my neighbors. Some of them are people from, you know, my kid's school. Other people are competitors within the industry. You know, what's the best strategy? What should I do? And the answer, in my opinion, is to absolutely connect with everybody. You never know when that's going to come in as value added to you. Even though it may be your competitor, even though it may be your neighbor, you know, think of it like a database. You know, you get them in the database, you put them in the correct section, and if you want to utilize that later on, you can, if you've gone in and done it. If you haven't connected with anybody, you never even have a chance, or you never even started. So that's where it kind of, like I said, that's kind of the concept and thought. So next question is well, how do I connect with people? What should I be doing on a day-to-day basis? So if you click on the Network tab and click on Add Connections, LinkedIn gives you quite a few ways to connect with people. Obviously, if you use like Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo or Hotmail or AOL, they've created some what we'll call quick upload buttons that'll let you upload in all of your email addresses, and it'll then send out those people an invite to connect. What I like to do, and what I always suggest, is to use this little button here that says Any Email. And if you click on that, you'll see another kind of tab comes up. And it gives you two selections over here. Let me just highlight it. There's a button that says Upload Contact File. So that may be like an Excel spreadsheet of all your emails. Or the second one says Invite by Individual Email. I personally have around 3,000 connections at this point. I absolutely did not get all those people in one day. I probably added about 2,800 of them over the last 6 years on a one-by-one basis. And maybe initially I got 200 people when I uploaded in my email contacts 6, 7 years ago. So one of the things that I've gotten into a really good habit of doing is maybe I go out to lunch with somebody, I get their business card. Maybe they call me up and I get their contact info. Maybe they shoot me an email interested in what I do. All the time I go in here and I click on the Invite by Individual Email, and I just come in and I type in their email address, and I send them an invitation to connect with me just by clicking Send Invitation. And it's kind of like what I call a social media system that I've forced myself to get into. And the whole thought process is great. I've just talked to these people. Now I want them to be exposed again to what I do and how I help them. And that's what my LinkedIn profile explains to them. So I get their information, I type it in, and I invite them to connect with me. And now again, the key is consistency, the consistency of just talking to them. So I find that if I've just talked to them within the last 2, 3, 4 hours, it's about a 99% chance they're immediately going to accept my invitation, whether they're a really good potential prospect or somebody just kind of sniffing around. I know that A, they're going to definitely take a look at my profile because they want to read up a little bit more. But B, I also look at it as kind of like a virtual handshake. It's kind of me saying, hey, look, appreciate you talking to me, but also here's my virtual resume. You know, when you go there, you can see I'm endorsed by about 1,000 people. You can read testimonials. You know, there's nothing. I'm not trying to hide anything. Let's potentially have a relationship. But more importantly, they become part of my database. And I'm going to kind of go through that section here in a second. I'll take a few questions. But this becomes very important. Connecting with people, again, becomes the distribution of your influence. So does anyone have any questions about how to upload people, what type of connections they should accept, stuff like that?
I think we're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know that it sounds simple, but again,
how do we get it so every time that you have a connection, they don't have access to all your connections?
Okay, very good question. So what you want to do, and basically his question is, hey, I just connected with this guy. I don't want him seeing all my connections. How do I stop that guy from seeing my connections? What you want to do is click on your picture in the upper right-hand corner and click on Privacy and Settings, and it'll probably make you log in, like it's making me log in. And just bear with me because I don't remember exactly what click here. But when you go into Privacy and Settings, and of course LinkedIn, you click on, let's see here, select who can see your connections. So click on that, and a drop-down will come, and you can change it to your connections or only you. For me, my strategy is kind of shock and awe. I want people to see that I'm connected to 3,000 people just like them. For you guys who are working with specific clients, you probably don't want that. You probably don't want anyone potentially seeing who your connections are. So you would just select your connections, and it would turn it off. Nobody could see your connections. And there's a lot of stuff in this kind of privacy area, too. You should probably want to go in here and kind of just take a look at it, make sure everything is set up the way you want it set up, because you do have a lot of flexibility and customization if you'd like. All right, so let me kind of transition here to the real hard part of LinkedIn that really separates the novices from the experts. So you've gone in and you've set up your profile. It looks good. You've gone in and you have a system now where you're now connecting with people, and you're starting to understand that the more people I connect with, the better, the more people I can influence. That's the way you want to be thinking. But really the hardest part of LinkedIn is actually organizing your connections and utilizing what I call the LinkedIn marketing tools. So one thing you can do on LinkedIn is you can go in, and up in the upper right-hand corner here is a little envelope. You can click on that envelope, like I'm going to do right now, and you can actually send out a mass message by clicking Compose Message in the upper left-hand corner here. That'll go out to whoever you want. You can certainly click on this little in icon on the right and go through all your connections and select them. Or you can set up what are called tags, which I'm going to show you in a minute. If you set up tags, which are what I would call organized folders of your connections, you can then go through and efficiently mass message potentially thousands of people in only a few minutes. So let me kind of rewind. Most common question I get when I go through the LinkedIn messaging features is Ken, that sounds pretty silly. I can just send an email out to people. Why am I going to waste all my time organizing all these people I'm connected to when I can just send an email out. What I've found is that if I send an email out to 1,000 people, probably about 45% of those people read it, they pay attention to it. If I send the same email via LinkedIn's messaging tools to the same 1,000 people, I get about 75% of the people reading it and paying attention to it. So people say, well, why is that? Well, that's because when you send out a LinkedIn message, it goes to your connection, and it goes to their email, just like a traditional email. But it says you've received a LinkedIn message from one of your connections, Bob Smith. And, you know, in this day and age, people are still very fascinated by LinkedIn and social media. That email looks very unique. It looks different. It doesn't look like a spam email. It looks important. So that's why 75% of the people go and immediately read it. So from your perspective, what you can really do, and I'm just going to go back into my connections here, is you can go into all your connections and you can organize them into different groupings. Let's just say you have organization of auto insurance clients, homeowners insurance clients, financial clients, health insurance clients. You know, you can kind of put them in logical organization and then send out a message specifically about that topic. And to me, that's really the power of marketing. If you can really get it down to a target market and have a target market message that goes out to them, you're going to increase your conversions. And it's going to be, you know, obviously it's going to be worth the time invested in coming up with these marketing concepts. So if we look at my connections here, and, you know, if just to kind of review, click on Network and click on Contacts. And LinkedIn kind of gives you an incredible amount of sorting capabilities, which is good, but it's also very overwhelming to someone who hasn't gone in here. So I am going to give you a disclaimer and say you're going to have to play around with this a little bit. But what I think you should do is feel comfortable by clicking on Recent Conversations and just clicking on Last Name. And what that means is LinkedIn is now going to organize all your connections, probably from A to Z, from last name. And again, I have a lot of connections. It's going to take a second here. But what I want you guys to get in the habit of doing is starting to kind of go through and organizing these people. So you'll see that this guy, Dan, right here, there's nothing. And Sashi, he's got a tag that says prospects. So he's organized, but Dan is not organized. So that's the thing you're going to want to go through and do, is kind of see which people have you put in folders and which ones haven't you put in folders. So before you do that, is go in and click on All Connections and click on Tag. And again, I have a lot of folders here. Actually, I'm in the wrong spot. Bear with me. What you want to do is you want to go in and set up all of your tags, which are folder names. And you'll see I have all sorts of folder names. Website, they're kind of coded for my own need, F1, F2, F3, F4. And these are, if I click on it, it will pull up all the people in this folder. So what you want to do is go to your first connection, click on the tag button, and then scroll down, and again, I have a lot of folders, and click on the Manage Tag button. This will allow you to either edit the folders or create a new folder, which you can then start to organize your connections in. I know this is tough to do in about an 8-minute period because I've spent 3 or 4 hours on this specific training in general, just on this specific topic. But my whole point is that once you get to the point where you're connecting with people, that's not enough because you can't utilize the database feature of LinkedIn. You want to go in there and make sure these people are, like I said, put in folders. That then lets you use the messaging feature, which can become very, very powerful because of a 30% increase from email to LinkedIn's messaging. And you know, hopefully that that can be utilized if you want to get a specific message out to a specific target market. So the other thing I didn't mention is that if you go to your profile and you click on Home, you'll see up here at the top there is a section that says Share and Update. So if I go in there and just say, you know, whatever, I just post that I'm having a webinar on LinkedIn training, that is actually going to go out to my 3,000 connections. okay? How many are going to see it? Probably around 10 to 15%, because you have to kind of look at the statistics of how often are people on there, how often are they looking at their news feed and all that stuff. But that kind of answers the question of, hey, we have the company profile, and Ken, you're posting some stuff on there. When we click the share button, what's really happening? Well, what's happening is it's going out to all of your connections feed. So, again, that's good. It's a touch. You're sharing the company's information, hopefully, again, driving the people to the company page, which leads them to the website. But I think where I was going is you can also post your own stuff as well. And it can be worthwhile, but I don't think it has the impact the messaging does. So it's just important to understand that you have posting and you have personal email messaging as well. So that being said, let me kind of go back.